Ji, so speaking is actually a very tricky part of our life. We should not restrict ourselves only up to the IELTS test. We should make it the part of our life achievement. We should make it a part of our profile, because whatever you will be doing as an academic way, in an academic way, and whatever you will be doing later on, it should become the part of your personality, and it should represent a part of your personality. So what is the actual trick of speaking English fluently? For every person who is desirous of speaking English fluently, with good use of grammar, with good use of thesaurus, with good use of synonymous language, or any other kind of thing which is very much inevitable, necessary and requisite for the use of English. So how we can have command on it, how we can have a strong grip on it, is one particular thing. So as I told you earlier in the class, that from our start of academic career we are taught very much wrong things, or even we are not properly taught English. Even our teachers at the government level or even at the private level are not that much groomed, they are not having that much caliber, because the universities are on their way to provide the degrees, and there is a bulk of marks for the students, and they are having very strong CGPAs, and their profile is very strong. But as for the matter of their delivery is concerned, caliber, actually practicality is concerned, when we get in touch with them, we assume that there is nothing doing. So first of all, whenever your mind starts bringing the ideas into its processing into English, then it's the right place when you are speaking fluently. Because we are non-native speakers, being non-native speakers makes us prone to understand everything in our language. No matter how much time we spend in the West, although we spend a decade or two, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, no matter how much time we spend there in the West, but our accent might not become the same as their accent, because somewhere in our subconscious mind, our own native capability of Urdu or any other language is lying behind, which makes the speedy translation of the ideas first into our native language and then into the English language, non-native language. Okay, they are very fast learners who become 100% the same in accent, in pronunciation, in every expression of the English language according to the American or British or any other accent. So one thing is, actually we should not restrict ourselves to prepare cue cards. We should not prefix ourselves to prepare sample question answers, personal question answers, first part of IELTS test, second part of IELTS test, or third part of IELTS speaking test. We should free our mind and make our mind and our vocabulary part of the processing, which makes us capable to speak everything in English. How would it become? By continuous listening, continuous watching. For example, you have been listening one specific thing wrongly for last 4 to 5 years, but when you watch some movie, but you listen to the news, but you watch some documentary, you watch some other educational video, and you listen the same thing accurately, you will realize that I have been taught this thing wrong, and your mind automatically will make that corrected thing the part of your vocabulary. The pronunciation we have been using wrongly earlier, when we will be listening the accurate pronunciation of everything, and we will be knowing that this has been taught to us wrongly for that much time, then it will become part of our understanding, and it will become the asset of your brain in the form of vocabulary, in the form of syntax, grammar. So the one and only trick to make you learn speaking of English very fastly is, I always recommend to most of my students that you must spend at least 2 hours of your time in continuous listening or watching English. Okay, first of all, it will make you understand the general ideas which are being spoken, because in the movies there might be the things which are of domestic concern, the things which are of professional concern, There might be some scenes which are of office use. There might be some scenes which are filmized in home, in university, in public place, in transaction, in institutions. So everything which is related to these specific fields will become part of your vocabulary. So whenever we are moving in society, we are going to use the same things. So automatically, today you are capable of understanding 5% of the lecture. Tomorrow you will be able to understand 10, then 15, and steadily their time will come within a month or two at most. If you are a fast learner, within 2 months you should become on track. If you are not capable of speaking perfectly and fluently, at least you will be able to write, listen, and read everything perfectly. Because most of the things which are spoken, written, and listened in the form of English news, documentaries, and films might have become the part of your own vocabulary already. So at least either you, even if you watch funny videos, even if you watch some memes or any funny recreational entertaining thing, jump it into your non-native language, jump it into English. This is the one way. And second way is what we call soliloquy. Soliloquy means self-talk. It is a kind of strong therapy which trains up your mind to make you have very strong command upon your own thoughts, your own capabilities when you will be talking to your own self. When you will be making your own videos of speaking to yourself or to camera, and you will be reviewing and analyzing them later on. So when you have, for example, if I give you a cue card to be prepared tomorrow, so you have prepared it, you have learned about it, now you need to make a video of it. When you see that your video is being made, your confidence level will become down first of all. Whenever you are speaking in front of someone, generally your confidence level will be up to that level. But when you will be thinking that people are making video, then your confidence will plummet down. It will decrease, it will diminish, it will less down. Because it's actually the mind's own therapy. When you start gaining the momentum of your confidence by speaking to yourself, by making videos and then reviewing them, because in the flow of the language you don't know what mistakes you have done. In the flow of language, I myself am not that much comfortable and not that much confident about being sure that I have not made any one mistake. But when I'll be listening to it, when I'll be reviewing and analyzing my own videos, then I'll be knowing that yes, I made this and that mistake, and the mistake that I reviewed and evaluated myself will never ever be repeated. Believe me, it works like wonder. For example, if you have prepared some 10 questions about your personal identity, what are you doing nowadays? Tell us something about your hometown. Tell us something about in detail. What do you wish to do in your future? What is the business of your free time? What do you do in your leisure time? Almost there are 10 questions. And according to your own capability and according to your own creative ability, you have prepared these questions. Now, when you will be making it in the form of interview, you better ask your brother, your sister, your friend, anyone whom you make it comfortable with. You make him ask the questions. Even if you yourself ask the question in the form of a video, you will say that this is the kind of therapy that works like wonder. Okay? So one thing that I told you about continuous listening. Every day watch Al Jazeera News, watch Al BBC News, watch a movie on daily basis. Make it a habit of yours to start watching a movie a day. If earlier your pronunciation was actually up to one level, even after watching one movie in English, your pronunciation level will reach up to 10 level. After watching 2 movies, 3 movies, I give you my word that if you watch at least 30 movies, I don't think there might be any word that you will be seeing in movies, in documentaries, in other educational videos, or in news. There might not be one single word that you might not have heard in those movies. Because most of the movies are actually filmographic movies, which are actually earlier novels and they are turned into the movies. Most of the gothic movies, most of the mystery movies and the adventure movies, romantic movies, these kind of movies are actually the novels. The novels, when become quite famous, they are given the shape of the movies also because of their fame. So first thing, continuous listening, even if you don't understand one single thing, your mind is processing. Your brain is making the part of its vocabulary. Your mind is sticking the ideas into your mind. You don't know it. Because if you have seen a person 3 years ago, you don't need to know him, you don't know about his name, you don't remember him, but the same person comes in front of your eyes after 3 years. You will say that, yeah, I have seen him somewhere. It's just your brain's work. Okay, so again, the same thing, it becomes the part of our vocabulary. Sigmund Freud, a Danish philosopher, he has given a strong emphasis upon the working of our mind. He says that even if we force our child to do something which he does not wish to do, he is actually a career counselor, he is a linguist and a philosopher. He talks about the working of the brain from the childhood up till the death. He says our brain is very much elastic. It can become compatible and comfortable with every situation when you give this thing to that mind in the form of challenge. Our brain processes the things first in a defensive way. First of all, a negative thought comes to our mind. Whenever we think of doing something, we think, yaar aisa na ho jaye kahin. For example, if we got to go to Faisalabad, what will be the instruction given to your parents? Drive carefully. Okay? And when you will be accelerating more and more, your mind would not give you the instruction to speed it up. Somewhere at the back end, it will ask you to slow down. Okay? This is the thing that our mind is trained for. Our mind is trained to make ourselves better and better and better. So this is the strength of our mind. So knowingly or unknowingly, the things are becoming part of our vocabulary, either in the form of events or in the form of lessons or in the form of topics, whatever kind of form we are learning in our surrounding. The things become the part of your vocabulary no matter you know it or not. Okay? So for example, you have gone to Murray and you stayed there for 3 days and you visited Ayubia, Nathia Gali, and you took the chairlift also, and you don't remember any of these things. So that thing is part of your vocabulary. But when you will be listening to some other fellow in Gujarat or in any other city, he'll be talking that yes, in Murray there is a chairlift. So the same event will arouse in your mind when you yourself went there and took the chairlift. The same thing works in the form of language also. So language automatically becomes a part of our mind. This is the very learning skill. When you will be learning, knowingly or unknowingly, all the things would have become the part of your vocabulary. Now the whole asset of vocabulary, the whole hoard of vocabulary is in your mind. You need only to make it now practice in the form of speaking. Just as a person is having millions of rupees in the locker, and these millions of rupees are at his convenience, whenever he wishes to spend, he can spend. But he will use spending when he has some expenses. When he will be spending, then they will start consuming. So just like everything, I always ask my student to make it a practical way of learning. No need to restrict your mind up to the language of English in the form of books. No need to restrict yourself in the grammars. No need to restrict yourself in anything which is verbal. Although these things are good in a conventional way of learning, books and these kind of magazines and Dawn newspaper or any other newspaper, these are very fruitful things in the way of your learning English, and you make very much rich vocabulary, good usage, complex usage of syntax, syntactical, okay, and denominated way of English language, which is acknowledged in the whole of the world. But listening, that is why the world is now turning to audio-visual aids in the form of teaching. Whenever you are the man of science, when you teach a child about nomenclature, or when you teach a child about how to make an atomic bomb, nuclear fusion and nuclear fission reaction, you give them the lecture for 1 hour and compare it with the 5 minutes video. If they watch that video 5 times, level of understanding after watching the video 5 times will be 1,000 times stronger than the level of your lecture that you gave them for 1 hour, although the lecture was very comprehensive, very far-flung and very because audio-visual aiding are very beautiful because it appeals to our mind. Whenever, if you watched Titanic movie, if I ask you to memorize each and every dialogue of the movie in the written form, I give you 1 week that you will have to memorize each and every dialogue, and there will be a test of yours afterwards. So how difficult it will become for you. But if I ask that you will have to watch movie 20 times, so remember that almost 80% of the dialogue will automatically be memorized by you. We see these kind of things in our own native movies. We memorize almost 80 or even 90% of the dialogues of any Indian movie when it is in Urdu, because our mind is already trained up for that. So the purpose of all this talk is actually to make, even there was a teacher of mine, Sir Nawaz Khalid, he is now the secretary of Pakistan Punjab Public Service Commission. When I used to prepare for CSS, he used to tell me I don't even recommend the students to watch videos. I ask them to listen to the radio. He said, when you will be closing your eyes and you will be listening to BBC radio, then the whole essence of language will be becoming part of the mind. While you are watching video, the visuals might also distract you. The color effects, the exposure, the general splendor of the settings, the beauty of the news anchor also might distract you, and your attention on the learning of language might not be of that much level as it is on the level when you are listening it in the form of radio. But radio is not pretty much liked by the youngster these days, so I always recommend to watch it in the audio-visual aid. Everything in English. Watch English, eat English, sleep English, bathe English, everything that you are going to do, you better do it in English, because now you need to have the command upon it.
British movies or American movies?
But most of the movies are actually American accent. If you want to watch any British accent movie, so you can watch the documentaries, BBC documentaries. Okay? And if you want to watch any literary masterpiece, so the purpose of whole of this video is actually to make you skilled. Second stage is interpersonal skills and intrapersonal skills. You can take it hand in hand. One stage is learning, second stage is delivering. Okay, while you will be coming here in the form of lesson, you will be coming here by taking mock exercising, and I'll be putting questions to you, and I'll be giving you the best sample answers also. It will also become part of your vocabulary. So all the purpose of, I can give this same lecture to you in Urdu also, and your understanding will also be much better. But I always emphasize, always focus to train up your mind. It will not take more than 1 or 2 months, and then you will be also be capable of speaking. Even if speaking will be slow, you will be able to catch some other person. Yeah, you spoke it wrong. Because already your mind has made it a part of its vocab. Your mind has already made it the asset of your own learning. It is here somewhere lying behind at the back end. And when the need be, on the need basis, it will straightway bring it out. Okay, every day. What is attitude and behavior? Attitude is the visible form of your behavior. You might have read the idiom in your FSC, tip of the iceberg, that the whole mountain is underneath the water and only small tip of that mountain is visible above the surface of water. Understanding? So our brain is also like the same. Just one tip of the whole of the mountain of our memory is visible in the form of other attitudes. Attitudes is the thing that we see from the others. Behavior is the hidden thing that is lying in the whole of the ocean. Every day we are learning the things, every day we are meeting our near and dear ones, we are meeting new people, we are going to the colleges, to our professions, society, bazaars, academics, to our institutions, wherever we go, everything your mind is making the part of its folder. Everything is made the folder. Of everything a folder is made in your memory and it is made, that is why we always say कि डॉक्टर का बेटा डॉक्टर ही बनेगा, क्रिमिनल का बेटा क्रिमिनल ही बनेगा, ठीक है, गैंगस्टर का बेटा तो गैंगस्टर ही बनेगा, ठीक है. The people who are in police, they are violent people, they become angry very soon. So we need to understand the mythology behind that, the denomination behind that, the actual etymology, actual basis of that. So why? Because when you are learning a thing and it is becoming the part of your learning every day, you are coming across the criminals, rapists, murderers, burglars, and which are the people which are related to the crime. Every day your mind is making up a folder in your mind. Every day your mind is making up a folder in your mind. And this folder, which is not visible in front of you, the whole learning process. A person joined the police in 2010. Today is 2020. For last whole of the decade, he's been in touch not with the angels. He's been in touch with the criminals. And everyday learning is stored in his mind. So this stored images, this stored learning events and incidents and occasions and dialogues and happenings, some way, somehow, some way or the other, make your attitude. These things become visible when you, for example, if a bike strikes to the bike of a teacher, so the attitude of the teacher will not be that much violent with that person. But if the same biker strikes with a policeman, his attitude will be a little bit violent because his brain has been trained for that. He got no memory about being decent to the others. He did not watch others to be decent with the others. The whole of the environment that he had been through was actually based on that learning, which made his behavior a little bit violent. A son who is brought up in a very religious family, so the whole of the behavior, every day the learning folder that is being made in his mind is based on the learnings which make his attitude. So that is why the people are asking to remove capital punishment, कि फांसी की सजा खत्म करो, because the man did not do the murder. After 20 years or 25 years research, the philosophers say that the man is not the murderer actually. The whole system is actually the murderer who made him like that, unless and until he is psychologically disturbed. If he is psychologically disturbed, the treatment is separate for him. But if he is wise with sound mind and condition, and yet he committed some sin, so sin is not the doing of that specific person only. It is the doing of the whole learning that he has been given by the society, by the academics, by the profession, by the family, by the friends. Because man is born as a learner. Very from our very childhood we learn the things. So these things become the hard disk. This is our hard disk. So on the basis of our need, on the basis of when we need to be angry, the experiences that have made our mind in the form of anger, the happenings that we have been seeing related to anger, these things will straight away come in our mind, and knowingly or unknowingly they will give us the reaction that will be shown in the form of attitude. So the same thing is about learning of English. Your hard disk is here, it is saving everything in your mind, and on need basis that folder will be straight away opened up, and that movie will start working. So this is a general introduction of speaking. Okay, we take. Thank you for your time. We'll make another video inshallah.